where the Board of Directors honor Mr. K.P. Singh, Chairman Emeritus, for making the indelible mark in the history of real estate and Indian business. Listen to what the directors have to say on the remarkable achievements of this man. A visionary who not only transformed his own company, but also an entire city.
Very nice and very, I must say, outstanding ceremony yesterday. The ceremony itself was quite spectacular, very well done, and I must thank E&Y for giving the Chairman Emeritus a very prominent, important honor and role in the ceremony. I think it was very well done. So that said and done, I think all of us here at DLF, we are all the beneficiaries of the value, ethos, and the business opportunities, trust, confidence, which he left and built DLF to. And I'd like to say we are trying our best to be following in his footsteps and sort of living out and completing the dream and vision which he had many years ago. I think the dream and vision is still a work in progress as far as I'm concerned, and will sort of, I think, inspire us and keep us busy for a long time. So I'd just like to formally congratulate him on my personal behalf, on behalf of all members of the board, all members of the company, all associates of the company who have benefited from being directly and indirectly in touch and contact with him, definitely by the actions he has taken. And I would like to say that we recommit ourselves. This award has not only honored him, but I think has honored DLF and recharged us all to recommit ourselves to the goal of doing something in the urban development sector which is unparalleled, and doing it with the value system which have been set by him in maybe much harder and much more difficult times. So I'd like to wish him well, and I think, as he said yesterday, one part of his agenda is fulfilled. He's active, and we wish him well that many other agendas and contributions, especially in the social service sector, which I know he's committed to doing, he does, and we offer him our support and any other assistance he may require in order to fulfill those dreams. Thank you so much, and I'd like to say, Dr. K.P. Singh, I said that I think it's really well done, and real congratulations from all of us at here.
Sir, congratulations, and we are blessed that we have been associated with you. And secondly, may you leave the next mountain also as breathless as you left this one.
So our fantastic congratulations to our Chairman Emeritus. It's a privilege for all of us to be here. Who would have imagined that this vision, who would have imagined what Gurgaon could be like? I think it represents the future of India in many respects. And apart from all the accomplishments that he and all of you and DLF have achieved with that amazing vision, which takes so much courage, so much guts. It's so easy to, in hindsight, think that it all went according to plan, but it must have taken such amazing risks and guts. Apart from that, he's also been the catalyst, and all of you have been the catalyst of one of the biggest industries in the country, which is the BPO industry that we were fortunate enough to start, and the entry of companies like GE into India. So there are multiple congratulations, and it is an enormous credit to him that EY gave him this Lifetime Achievement Award. My only question, as we were asking yesterday when I was also there, was why wasn't this given about 10 years ago? But nevertheless, it was done now. And our congratulations to you, sir. So well deserved. And thank you for letting us be a part of this journey.
Well, Chairman, thank you very much. I'd like to say a few words in felicitation and add to those which you conveyed. Terence, a Roman playwright, had written about 2,150 years ago fortune favors the brave. Dr. K.P. Singh, our Chairman Emeritus, is living proof of that. It is his courage, vision, dedication, indefatigable efforts, combined with principles and ethics, which has made DLF what it is and earned him the honor of the lifetime achievement. As Pramod said, I think it's a special significance and a rarity in the real estate sector. All of us are aware of the many pitfalls. And for someone to have navigated them, led them, faced all the challenges, having set benchmarks and made the DLF and its team the leading real estate company in the world, or in India definitely, and soon to be in the world, I think is nothing short of a miracle. So may I, in the lighter sense, say that if EY was an ecclesiastical organization, this miracle would qualify you, sir, for a saint. The transformation of Gurgaon in less than 4 decades from scrub and wasteland to an urban center of quality was due to his perseverance and efforts. Today we talk of innovation and out-of-the-box thinking. When you read about him and what he did and how he acquired such large tracts of contiguous land from 800 feudal families, winning their trust, using untried methods of credit, pay when able, without even one legal case against him, is nothing short of brilliant. It took him 10 to 12 years and only goes to prove what Thomas Alva Edison said. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. I think the award merits that. There's also another saying that the bard used to say about taking tide at its flood. In his life, he's had many opportunities, but unlike most, he has recognized them and capitalized them, whether it was a chance meeting with Jack Welch or the late former Prime Minister. He built on them and made sure that this tide, he took it at its flood and fortune. To recognize this is, I think, something special. And this is proof of his testimony and hard work. At the award ceremony yesterday, along with him was honored a gentleman called Deepak Bagla. And he spoke just a few days ago at the Treasury Leader Forum. He's from Invest India and he spoke at the Treasury Leadership Forum. And I would commend his speech to you. What he said was India is undergoing a transformation unprecedented in history. 1 billion of our people are an average age of 29. They have aspirations which are world class. The people born in this millennium, it has been assessed, will spend $200,000 in their lifetime. There is thus huge potential for growth. And what he talks about it is for this growth will lead to urbanization. According to him, the figure he quoted was 30 people move from rural areas every minute in India to urban centers. This is the migration which our Chairman Emeritus had foreseen years ago. And he has been leading this debate that urbanization or proper planned urbanization should become a part of our national discourse. he is of the view that this is essential to India's growth. And I will say this, that while there can be urban planning without growth, there can be no growth without proper developed urban infrastructure. And I think this foresight of the chairman, which was so aptly brought out by Deepak Bagla, is something that we must look into, and also the important aspect that look at least 100 years ahead. So, sir, for all this, we need your continued advice and drive so that in your lifetime we see a developed India of your dream. Under the circumstances, I feel that this Lifetime Achievement Award is just another feather and will a precursor to many more to come. In keeping with this, and for more, I'm certain all of you, I speak for all of you, and as the chairman had said earlier, wish you the very best of good health and well-being and continued guidance in the years to come in your pursuit for urban health. Thank you.
Respected sir, dear Chairman sir, my all dear colleagues, board members, senior executive at DLF. It's with great pleasure that we have assembled today to express our warmest congratulations to respected KP sir, Chairman Emeritus DLF, on receiving this very prestigious lifetime achievement. So your contribution to the real estate industry is unparalleled. Over the years, you have built a legacy of excellence, innovation, and integrity that has set the benchmark for the industry as a whole. Under your visionary leadership, DLF has become one of India's largest and most successful real estate company with an impressive portfolio of iconic commercial and residential projects across the country. Your vision and innovative thinking have been instrumental in shaping the Indian real estate landscape. You are known for your bold and very ambitious project, including the development of Cyber City in Gurgaon, which transformed the area into bustling hub for the IT industry. You had a very bold vision to transform the outskirts of Delhi, as General Singh said, of Delhi into a bustling hub for the IT industry. At that time, the Gurgaon was just a small town on the outskirts of Delhi with very little development. Despite the challenges and skepticism from various experts, you pursued your vision and launched the ambitious project of developing Cyber City in Gurgaon. And today we see Cyber City as a thriving IT hub and a shining example of your visionary leadership. I had the privilege of knowing you, sir, for many, many years. And I can say with confidence that you being a man of great vision, determination, and leadership, you are truly legend in the Indian real industry and has made an indelible mark on the sector with your innovative ideas and your governance services. I can just share two of your thoughts which I have the privilege of sharing with you. Way back, I think in mid-70s, when the challenge has come in Delhi on the Urban Land Ceiling Act, the way you had acted and the way you have managed it, and then you have given back to the people who have booked those plots. I believe it's one of the rarest example in, I think, in business practices. I believe that project must be at that point of time running crores, and your action to help out those people who have booked those flats, and the way you later on said no, all benefit to the people who are. I think that was the greatest, I think, your personal desire that one should work with a governance, with a thought which is clear and which is helpful to all. And I believe your such action has made really DLF the way we are today. Because the moment you say to anybody that this is a DLF project, I don't think anybody has any doubt about the project or any issue about coming to the project. Another idea which you have shared many times on this, sitting in this chair as chairman on this board member, is that whenever you have a talk with any person who's doing businesses with us, please make sure that something has to be left out for the others. And that idea still I recall, I will share my experience on it. We had a long inventory, I think when I joined in about 2014-15, so we had a very fun. And I used to say, why we are carrying this inventory so long? Why don't we sell it out at discount so that we save the interest costs? And then I was briefed on that issue that we will not like anybody who has taken a flat or plot from us to have any idea at any point of time that I have lost money in the project. So we will not never like to reduce the price so as to feel another person. These are very big sacrifices, upon a very maybe look odd but a very good practice, which has really made a DLF yes what it is DLF. So all credit to you, sir, the way you have worked for that year. But your commitment and your excellence doesn't stop here. You ensured that the building in the cyber city were not just functional, but also beautiful and environmentally sustainable. You incorporated green spaces, water conservation systems, solar energy into design, making it one of the most eco-friendly commercial spaces in the country. I believe today in all this NCR, Gurgaon and the cyber city is the envy of everyone, the way people. Your visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to excellence have transformed the real estate industry and helped shape the Indian economy. You truly deserve the Lifetime Achievement Award that you received yesterday. Your commitment to excellence is not limited to business acumen. You have also been an active philanthropist and is deeply committed to giving back to the society. Your work in the areas of education, healthcare, and community development has had a positive impact on countless lives and serves as a shining example of how businesses can make a meaningful difference in the world. It is no surprise, therefore, that KP Saab has been recognized with this prestigious award. This Lifetime Achievement Award is a testament to your unwavering commitment to excellence, your dedication to the betterment of society, and your exceptional leadership. On behalf of myself and everyone here today, I would like to congratulate you, sir, on this well-deserved recognition. So your contribution to the real estate industry and society at large are truly inspiring. We look forward to your continued leadership and wish you all the very best in your future endeavors. Thank you, sir.
That's a few words only. Artist calculations to you, sir, for being conferred this prestigious award. This recognizes your vision, leadership, and your contribution to the society. Surely, sir, you deserve all the recognition for your extraordinary dedication, hard work, and commitment to achieving the excellence. Sir, it's under your leadership that DLF today is a successful and dynamic organization. This occasion is a matter of pride for all of us, the company. Congratulations once again on achieving this amazing recognition. May God bless you with a happy, healthy, long life. Thanks.
Thanks, Chairman. I'll be very brief. So I'll echo everything that everybody has said, with one exception. So I don't think the village came to city, but the city went to the village. And one more little comment would be that I don't usually play golf, but I chanced to play golf with until some time back, and we played 9 holes. And the spirit with which he ran DLF, he says, "This is not enough. We should play 18 next time." Thank you. All the best.
Thank you. And of course, every word that everyone has said is rings true 200%. And I want to add my endorsement of that. But really, KP Uncle, Chairman Emeritus, it's not just the business acumen, it's who you are as a person, and that provides the leadership through what you do and the way you live your life. And I wish you every single moment up ahead is as brilliant and gorgeous as your life has been in the past. So thank you for everything that you do, and thank you for being you.
Well, first of all, congratulations for such an outstanding achievement and honor. But I would say that this achievement or this award is just a small award in the recognition of the gigantic achievements that you have done throughout your life. If I even look back and I look back through all that you have achieved and all that you have been for our family, from your strength to your tenacity, to your ability to concentrate, to your ability to see the task through, to your generosity, to your open-mindedness, even-mindedness, always deep sense of fair play and what is correct. I would say me and the rest of the family members have learned so much from you, and you have set such a, well, large, deep, appropriate, significant example for us to follow. I only hope that we will be able to do justice to you and make you proud in whichever way we can. And if I just look back, I see the continuity, of a family legacy. I see from my grandfather, Bade Papa, for the sheer tenacity he must have had, where before the partition of the country, which was such an enormous event, then to create housing for people who may, be refugees, and there be an exodus and migration from a newly formed country to developing 21 colonies in and around Delhi. That being the legacy, to then you taking forward that legacy. And, I've always heard the stories and perhaps witnessed it from a distance as a child, but hearing it at the award ceremony and seeing it in a visual form, what grit, what determination, what sheer drive, what a deep sense of purpose you must have had to actually go out and start buying this land when there was no money, there was no market, quite frankly, laws were completely against it. What led you to, have the vision of creating this city of Gurgaon, this thriving metropolis today, and how you went after it single-mindedly in spite of all the obstacles that came your way. And today, what we see, the economic engine that has been created, the lives people are living, the kind of universe and ecosystem of economy, life, livelihood, medicine, retail, the thriving city that you have created is a testament to your determination and single-minded vision and focus. So truly, what a legacy for all of us to have, and what a shining example of someone who stands head and shoulders above anybody else. When I look around this room, Raju, I would like to say that, next in line will be you and your legacy for what you have taken forward from him and have created and are creating. And I would just like to say that I would, I'll be there applauding when you get this award, and going on to you, Anushka and Sabu, I may not be there when you both get it, but certainly you will, take the legacy of the family forward and make everyone proud, and certainly me very proud, and wherever I am, I'll be clapping. But I just feel privileged to be part of the legacy of this family, and, to you for the example that you have set for all of us, and for the towering person you have been inside and out, and really only full of love and admiration. Thank you.
I think, Dada, you've left very, very, very big shoes for all of us to fill. I think, you've always, like Anushka mentioned, from a young age, despite the fact that we were girls, and in your generation, there are very few elders who, actively encouraged women to study hard and work. I remember, you advised me when I was finishing school that I must go to Wharton, I must be well educated. And he said, there's no reason why you should not be, any less smart or well equipped or well educated than any other man in a room. So I think, your championing of women working, the value system that both you and Dadi ingrained in us, I think have held us in good stead. But like I said, they're very, very, very big shoes to fill. So we have a lot of years ahead of us to try and do that. But congratulations on a very, very well-deserved award.
So, KP Saab, or our Chairman Emeritus, he's really been the founder of, the Gurgaon as we know it now, from a sleepy little hamlet in the early 80s to the bustling metropolis that it's become. His role has been phenomenal, I mean, in some sense, he is one of the sort of founders of modern urban master planning in India. And he sort of experimented with it completely in both residential and office spaces, educated the policy makers on creating policy environments which are more conducive to real estate development. So, I mean, in that sense, his contribution to not only just Gurgaon, but urban real estate planning has been phenomenal. I mean, from a personal standpoint, as someone who's worked with him for almost a decade and a half now, I mean, his razor sharp intellect, his memory, his energy even at this age is something which is just, worth emulating, I mean, even today he, by no stretch of imagination does he look anywhere close to his chronological age of 90. I think the current EY recognition is an extremely well deserved, in fact, an overdue one for him. And I think clearly he has been one of the true titans of the Indian real estate sector, in fact, the Indian industry. So KP Saab, or our Chairman Emeritus as he is now, has been really the founder of Gurgaon as we know it today. I mean, from a small, sleepy little hamlet 4 decades back to the bustling metropolis housing, millions of young workers and professionals. He's been through it all. He has driven it all. I mean, in some sense, he has helped educate policy makers. He's been the guy who has sort of, helped establish new standards of both residential and office, complexes in Gurgaon and in other parts of the country. In some sense, he's been like the torch bearer of the professionalization or the institutionalization of the real estate industry in India. I mean, from a personal standpoint, I have worked with him for almost a decade and a half plus. I mean, his razor sharp intellect, his memory, he'll recollect incidents 40 years, 50 years back with absolutely, minute to minute recollection. His tremendous energy, even at this chronological age of 90 plus. I mean, he just looks somebody who is at least 2 or 3 decades younger. So, I mean, in that sense, he's a phenomenal inspiration. And this EY Lifetime Achievement Award, frankly, was not only extremely well deserved, also, if I may say so, a trifle overdue, and we are very glad that the industry has recognized him for what he is as one of the true titans of the Indian industry.
It is an honor to speak about KP Saab. I was very fortunate to have trained under him in formative years of my life. He always has been a great teacher, and I got to learn many valuable lessons from him. There are many incidents which are printed in my memory. I would want to share a couple of those. I had accompanied him to Chandigarh, and he had wanted to meet with the Commissioner of the Town and Country Planning Department. The office of this government office was opposite a public toilet, and the stink of the toilet was quite unbearable. But I saw the grit and determination of KP Saab as he sat outside on a bench without lunch, having missed his flight for over 3 years till he was called in to meet. I was asked to go out of Delhi to do a survey of a property. There was a small team also along with me. KP Saab insisted that I buy a hot case casserole for the team, so that team has hot food. I have found the price of hot case to be prohibitive, and I did not buy it. On his next visit to the site, KP Saab checked with me, and since my answer was negative, he reprimanded me and made sure that I bought the hot case. The entire team was touched by his compassionate gesture. Even though as per present day conditions, it may not seem too much, but the price of that hot case those days was 2,000 rupees. And in context, my monthly stipend was 1,200 rupees a month. EY Lifetime Achievement Award for a visionary who led transformation of a sleepy town to a millennium city is very well deserved, and I wish him good health, a long life, and lots of joy.
Thank you. I don't know how to start thanking you all. Rajiv, what you said about me, million thanks. And what other directors have conveyed the sentiment, million thanks to you all. At the outset, I have been on very many occasions. I've attended several events like this earlier in my life. But frankly, the event organized by EY was indeed of a global standard. And I'd like to convey my great appreciation to the organization who have done that. It is very well done. But coming back to our subject here, one thing I feel, Mr. Chairman, is the need to have archives in a company. Would you believe that when I was trying to do research and reflect about myself and the company ever since I've been associated with it, I couldn't find any photographs, any film of what the late founder had done. Brilliant job done immediately after partition. There are no photographs. In fact, there are no photographs of me also. When I revived DLF, oh my God, the amount of incidents, and they are to be captured, although I covered some in my autobiography. So I do believe, like in good companies, they do have archives. Like my association in the army in my earlier days, they always have a regimental history. And a new officer is supposed to go through that to get acquainted with the culture of the regiment. In the same way, since your organization has undergone a sea change and will continue undergoing changes, the new people come around, they would not know the history of the company, what happened in the beginning. So I suggest, Mr. Chairman, that you should you should organize, make somebody responsible for developing a good archives. Well, a lot has been covered already in my interviews, but if I may emphasize a couple of things. Indeed, when I got involved with DLF, that was mid-70s, I had no knowledge about real estate. I didn't know what shajaras mean, but didn't know anything. But I was a very inquisitive person. So my life started with one observation in the beginning. When I found our salespeople writing about the size of a plot. Normally I thought it would be 500 yards or 300 yards, but they wrote a word called ad measuring. So I was not clear as to why do you write ad measuring? Why don't you write measuring? Now, would you believe a strange thing happened from this? Because I was a good learner. So I called the Patwari, lowest person, to teach me what is shajara and what is the implication of this ad measuring. So he told me, Sahib Singh was his name, that, sir, in a land records and land business, it is not possible to have a very definitive measurement because invariably the land is undulating. So we call it the measurement through a method called zarib, means approximate. So I was surprised. I said, look, if that is the approximate, now look at the inquisitiveness I went into. I said, Sahib Singh, we have developed so many colonies. Has anybody done a reconciliation that what land we purchased what we developed, what we finally handed over to the municipal committees, and the area handed over to the plot owners in a way that should reconcile after counting for community sites and the open spaces. He said, yes, sir, it should completely reconcile. So I said, let's go tomorrow. You say undulating. Greater Class 2 was under development at that time. So I took Sahib Singh in my car. I said, let's go Sahib Singh. And it stood where, called W Block, where today we find King's Court. There was that time a huge open space covered, they showed in the plans as open ground covered by a lawn. So we stood there, looked down, it's a little undulating because the rest of the plots are a little sloping down. So I said, tell me now, in this situation, it's undulating undoubtedly. How much area do you think we have purchased? Because we know exactly what we purchased. I still remember, I think it was 230 acres. So I said, let's go back. So then I called, I had only one little engineer called Prithpal Singh. So I said, Prithpal Singh, calculate for me. And he had some only draftsman with him. That was the only engineering department. I said, now calculate for me the entire area, reconcile to me. I sat with them, would you believe, for 6-7 hours. And they reconciled, they found that, yes, sir, we have handed over the GK2 area to the Delhi Municipal Corporation. It appears, looks like we have handed more, because in reconciliation is coming that we bought 230 acres. But frankly, we believe that 30 acres appears to have been handed over to municipal corporation in excess. I said, come on, 30 acres. He said, this is, so I said, double check. So then I put some other accountant, I said, check and double check. Because it can't be that mistake. Finally, they came back, yes, this is the reconciliation. So would you believe, I myself, I still remember the name of the municipal commissioner called Ganga Das, took an appointment. I went to see him. He was very efficient, very nice man. And I said, Mr. Ganga Das, he didn't know me, I didn't know him earlier, but I just took an appointment. I said, sir, this is the position. He knew DLF very well. Of course, everybody knew DLF. But please tell me, you have taken more land from us. I need to get either compensation for you extra land or land, give me land back. So he jumped from his chair. He said, come on, Mr. Singh, what the hell are you talking about? Can you get it back like this? I said, no, I'm only requesting you. If you were in my position, what would you do, Mr. Gangadas? Reverse the role. He was taken aback. He said, nobody's asked me. I said, if you were in my position, would you not ask for your rights? And would you believe, he called the chief town planner and he asked him, this is the position, please double check. Now we put, my engineer was only Prithpal Singh, nobody else, and a draftman with him. So I said, sir, can you just give them a task to do? I'll be more than satisfied if I find that we have handed over the land exactly what we should have done. But if we have handed you over 30 acres more, surely either I should get compensation or some in planning adjustment so that I can get something. So he appointed a high-powered committee. They came back to the same conclusion. It was about the same 30 acres. Then he came around. No, this is not, it can't be. So I said, put another committee. They appointed the independent surveyor. I think it's L&Q or some name like this. I still remember the names. And the independent surveyors came. They did this whole thing. It was only a few acres up and down, but approximately the same. Then they were still not satisfied. So I went to see a guy called, very fine man, the chairman of standing committee called Deep Chand Bandhu, Congress chairman. And now, by the way, that Congress chairman knew Chaudhry Sahab, his reputation. So he welcomed a very nice cup of tea for me. I said, sir, I'm your son, but tell me please. I explained the situation. So he, as a chairman of standing committee, rang up Gangadas. Okay, as Mr. Singh saying this thing, please have this matter thoroughly examined and bring it before the standing committee. So the Gangadas said, I said, I can't bring this matter to the standing committee just like this. I have to check and double check and double check. They appointed a committee, again surveyors. Then this time they got from the army, there's a army corps, they have all the revenue and the people, they got surveyor from there. I said, do anything. On and on, on and on. Would you believe finally they came conclusion that yes, I think they access, but they said we can't give you the land. We have no land because it's already covered by roads and this and that. I said, then let's have a deal. So what? I said, you give me convert my parks into this thing. That's why King Court came around, Queen Court came. So this is the maximum we can do. And secondly, I said, I want you to resolve my right, because all community sites developed, there were 108 number by DLF ever since 1956-57. All had been encroached upon, mostly by public, some by municipal corporation. We had nothing. So I said, no, I want the sites and a settlement on that. I was a single man army. There was nobody with me. I went there, series of meetings took place, and they were taken aback that I would not give up. I used to go religiously every few days, sit there, sometimes sitting outside in a bench outside the commissioner's office. I said, sir, I would not give it up. I would not give it up. You have to finally, would you believe on this inquisitiveness of admeasuring? The standing committee unanimously, and I remember this Bandhu Gupta was, Bandhu was the chairman, but there was another guy called Desai, who was BJP, who was supposed to be always fighting. I went to BJP. I developed a relationship with the same guy. Went to his house 10 times. I lived in a place, some mirchis all around. Oh my God, most difficult. But I played the role. I said, sir, if you were me, what would you do? It is a single most situation where the entire standing committee gave a unanimous decision agreeing to a proposal that some sites have to be handed over to us. I think 5 or 7 acres of 6 acres of land, which is covered by some open spaces and all, will be given to us. Then it was meant to this, what they call in the house of the entire corporation. There also I went there. I sat with them. Yes, unanimous pass. Then comes around a strange thing, the chief secretary, and I was following it myself. He said, a very strange case, and governor, I knew him, Mr. Bhandari, very competent person. So they said, well, it is a very strange case where the DDA was opposing like hell in writing and completely this resolution. They said, no, these sites must never be given back to developer. The site must remain with MCD. Letters written by commissioner at that time, the vice chairman of DDA. But the standing committee overruled that and unanimously decided. So when it comes to governor, he said, what can we do? It is a democracy. A house has unanimously decided. If the VCTDA wants something, he's an official. He can't do it. So when we got that, then of course there was a hell of a hue and cry. People agitated. They went to High Court, then Supreme Court. I went every hearing myself, sat there in front of the judge. And the very nice Chief Justice called Justice Kirpal, very fine man. And he said, look, this is the situation. Then dismissed all the petition. Finally, Supreme Court gave it to us. Supreme Court gave us the decision which has enriched our trusts. Those sites were forgotten have come back at least 8 or 9 sites, which are valuable sites in GK1, GK2. Number 2, we got land from group housing. What I've diverted from this issue mainly is this. In DLF, develop every person the sense of inquisitiveness, because ultimately you need people who can question everything, because unless you have inquisitiveness built in, then you lose a lot of landed area here and there. But having said that, that is just as an advice. Now we come around that when I came into DLF, as you know, my family pressures were such that they said, no, we revived DLF in 75. I had no knowledge. I did this when Khushtar thing started mentioning, there is a time. But there's so much pressure that no, leave Willard, leave America, you should revive DLF. This is my wife and my sister-in-law were the only 2 shareholders of DLF. They said, no, we plead with you. We would not like this to be given to anyone else, because there was a procedure. There was something that this whole DLF brand company was being proposed to be transferred to Devinder Singh, Chaudhry Saab's younger brother. And these girls posed it, and they challenged me, and they said in such words that it was something that I had to get, and I said, okay, I'll fight this battle. When I realized this issue came in, it is like climbing a Mount Everest. Law is banned. You do not have any money in your balance sheet because company was closed for 20 years. There's no organization. Everybody had gone. All DLF's work was industries were separate companies. Then banks were forbidden to loan for land. And how do you buy land? Because 5-6 acres were the average holding, you need thousands of acres. So then I learned from my great mentor George Hoddy that whatever you do in your life, do a microscopic examination of everything, what you need to do to succeed. I examine detail, what will it be to me to get this land without money, and it came around loud and clear. I have to win the trust and confidence of people. Because in DLF, we always try to give a feeling of like a partnership to people, so that when DLF succeeds, farmers also get more money. But it was a battle for covering more than a decade, I think 10, 12 years. I had to be in and out every time, in and out. But end of the day, it is covered in my various interviews, you will see. It's a long story, I can't devote everything here, but I want to say, eventually, I won the trust and confidence and achieved something which was impossible to achieve for others. Means buying thousands of acres of land, mostly on credit. And would you believe that there has never been any single litigation on this land? It is a win-win-win position. Why? Because I personally got involved to do everything for all these people, what they need, their family. In agriculture, you give them 10 acres near Alwar, help them to develop mechanized farms. All these things happen. What I'm wanting to say is this: life has been a great battle, very great battle. At the same time, getting the antiquated laws changed, I worked through, but there were some blessings, must be from God, I don't know from where. I did what I thought was right. I never broke any law, but I was very hardworking. I was hungry. I had fire in my belly, and I had no money. So only thing I was fighting to succeed, nothing else. And every stage of my life, I can only say God's blessing, because there's no other blessing. I don't believe anything. I didn't have any panga or what they call it with any person. So in other words, it was a story of grit, courage and determination, which is how the DLF started. And thereafter, with a very lean organization, because I thought, when I analyzed the same George Hody's advice, I came to conclusion that this job cannot be done by any professional. Reason, the business was closed for 20 years, so there were no professionals. Yes, if you can have manufacturing operation, but in the urban land, they're all characters who are doing unauthorized work. Nothing but people are not there. So I thought, no, I must do it myself. I must lead from the front. I had only 2-3 low-key officers like Patwari, Naib Tahsildar type, Amritla Jain, Sarup Chand Ansal, and my engineer was only Prithpal Singh, and Devinder is sitting here. He joined also as assistant engineer at that time. A small team, but I was always leading from the front. I went around, I lobbied to get the laws changed. They did eventually, not because of anything else. I convinced them the law is wrong. By the building regulation is antiquated. It took a lot of time, but I must say there is no doubt about that. If you do and you explain rightly to government officials and have the patience to understand that they will always oppose and keep on at it. I did that. Antiquated laws were completely replaced. We were allowed the whole ban which was on real estate or urban land development was reversed. Banks started sort of financing and the business of urban land development. Now, it so happened, but then another twist happened in my life, which I think Vijay has just now mentioned. But let me explain slightly. I know it's becoming longish, my response, but it's important because I am wanting this to be part of the archives so that when new people come, as time goes, decades later, I would not be alive at that time. People should know what has gone behind making DLF what it is today. It is just not come around just for the heck of it. So therefore, while I was doing this, just I think in 1976, 2-3 years after I got involved, I was trying to learn the thing. A bombshell came. A new law was enacted called Urban Land Ceiling Act in India. Delhi was covered. Fortunately, Haryana was not covered. That's why we could do development. And urban land ceiling was such a wrong law. It meant that given on that date, anybody who is owning more than 500 yards of excess vacant land, the land becomes land will get reverted, will be deemed to be reverted to the government free of cost. In other words, more than 500 yards back to the government free of cost. Very unfair. But in our DLF's case, they were a very peculiar position. Because ever since DLF started its business, Chaudhary Sahab followed a very good thing, giving long installments to people to enable them to pay the hardly price at that time was only 5-10 rupees a yard, very small price. Now, whereas when the law came now, is about My God, 50, 60, or maybe in some places like Oscar, the prices of a lakh a yard. Look at the difference between the prices. So what happened was, because of this law, all plot holders whom we sold and whose title had not been transferred, and there were about 70-80% people, although they were in possession of the plots, quite a lot of them, but their land became, de jure means legally, surplus, because title was still in the name of DLF. So in other words, my God, hell broke loose, newspaper covered it, and as you see, sometimes they can get after a builder. They got after me, and just now, I've just started, I said, oh, where the hell have I landed up now completely? What have we got to do? And they wanted a refund of the land. It was only about, not very much, about 3 crore. So how do I refund the land? DLF had no money. If I sell Aurangzeb Road, if I sell anything, you can't even then get even a crore. So it was a very difficult, but look at how luck comes in. How I think there's a blessing to DLF from somewhere. Then I said, okay, being microscopic person me, I go into very detail of things. So I said, let me read the law myself. I read the law, I found a very strange para, that if any provision of this law brings hardship to a common man, then by an act of notification, the government could exempt. So I took this paragraph, and since my relationship has been key in my life, I have very good friendship with this guy called Rajgopalan, who was then the executive assistant, a very bright IAS officer to the minister. Then one Mr. Kamath, N.J. Kamath, who was then the urban secretary, very fine man, who later on became chairman of Summerfield School, our school here, very fine man. So I went to these people. They said, this is true. This point is, I said, look, please tell me, this is a common man, their land is going. We are only trying to say, please give an exemption. So they said, no, it's very difficult because this is Mrs. Gandhi's pet subject, and she is hell-bent in enforcing it. So I said, but this is again a common man. Would you believe they agreed with me? They said, what you do, you keep on having papers written that against a common man, Hindi, English, all the newspaper. And this was against common man. So I told all people who were trying, I said, go to media, please tell them this is a wrong law. Rajgopal, N.J. Kamath, talked to the cabinet secretary, law secretary, law minister. Finally, they met Mrs. Gandhi. And Mrs. Gandhi, first he said, oh, is there any builder getting benefit of this? So he said, no, these are the people of plot holder. So he said, okay, if that is a common man, that is true, bring it to the cabinet for notification. So at that time, Rajgopal rang me up, come and see me. I went to see him. He said, look, I have some, be very confidential, she should be not known to anyone, but we have got informal nod from the Prime Minister. But the case has to go to the cabinet through a long process. It will take a couple of weeks. So till that time, see, nobody knows this issue. I'm just confiding this because it's so sensitive. So I said, and in future, do not come and see me in the office. Should not be seen at all anywhere. So I went in, and stupidly what I did when I went there, office DLF at 40F Connaught Place. So as old people who had retired, like Mr. Tyal, Mr. Jain, and Chaudhary Saab, they were that day there having a cup of tea. So when I went in the evening, I was so stupid that Rajgopal, having told me, do not tell, I don't know what happened. I just said, I said, this is happy news, this may happen. And I told these three very stalwarts of the people, company would retire, but they used to always their good advice. So came from Mr. Tyal that now borrow money at whatever cost. And Chaudhary Sahib that he knows one Mr. Makhanlal, who's a great person, a jeweler, kind of stuff from Rohtak. Is a will arrange for this thing. And we borrow and return the money before it gets known through a cabinet, because it'll take about a month before it gets known. And return the money to all people, because then if what happens, the land becomes surplus. Now then you sell it yourself. You'll be a 10-time billionaire, because imagine the price. Those guys bought only 5, 6, 7 rupees a yard. Now it's 1 lakh rupees a yard. And the whole colony. So would you believe? I said, sir, let me think it all. It doesn't, I don't think I agree with this strategy. So would you believe what Tyal Sahib tells me, why don't you agree? I said, this is not correct, because it is in my knowledge now. And if it was not in my knowledge and we are refunded money, perfectly okay. But those guys have been asking refund, and now we do, and later on this comes around. So I think this will be unethical. So naturally Jain Sahib and so Tyal are telling me, KP Sahib, aap to army mein rehte. Because this business, you can, the choice of also start telling me, KP, I told you, don't get involved. You would not be able to do DLF. Best is, don't do it. Let this go to Devinder. And because this business cannot be done, you can't be a Gandhian to do this business. I said, sir, whatever it is, let me think. I just can't. This is not going to me. So I said, let me think about tonight. So I came back home. I talked to my wife. She said, no, KP, never do something which tantamount to cheating. I went back next day. I said, sir, I would not do it. So then what I said, I'll make these plot holders millionaire first. When they think of everybody is millionaire, thousands and thousands of people plot holder, they'll become millionaire. I said, they will make me billionaire later on. Exactly what happened. I was ethical. I had my moral standards. And would you believe so much goodwill happened around? It was like a fire of ambassadors all over DLF, villages and everything. They came on this thing. That was the crux, the turning point of DLF. DLF had no money. And would you believe thereafter, so thousands of people started coming to our office to buy plots, because farmers, everybody knew that DLF stands for ethics and moral value. And then we, of course, had some deposit scheme. Money came so much abundance, and in a few months' time, DLF was surplus. If I had not done this thing, which most builders don't do it, where would DLF have been? So moral of the story I want to tell all of you. When you conduct your business, Mr. Chairman and the directors, keep upmost in your mind that moral and ethical values have always to be superior over and above the greed for making money. Never greed come in your life. You will win, because if you are doing the right thing, you will win, like I won. But if I had not done that, DLF would not have been in existence today. So I thought I'll let you know. And you are a great company, you've got a great future. And today, look at the goodwill of DLF. DLF is the most respected brand, having been 76 years back. Every year, and Rajiv, I'm proud of you, you are enhancing the brand value, 4th generation in this business. You have such a land bank that the company, I know when I was madly buying land, somebody said, am I mad? I said, no. Because Jack Welch told me, number one means I've got to buy more land, more land. I amassed land, which then was, I could buy. Today is the most valuable property. So it might take several decades for DLF to even complete what the land is. So your biggest asset today is a land bank, like of which nobody has. So therefore, keep on doing the good work, and you got a great thing. I'm very satisfied, and I'm very proud to what all you guys are doing. I wish you good luck. As far as I'm concerned, my battle is not finished yet. I'm an active man. I'll prove it that age is a number, is a myth. I'll live longer, God willing. I'll be very active, but now my pursuit is different. My pursuit is, of course, playing golf, enjoy life. I'll go outside. But my bigger pursuit is what I could not do in my active life was to look after for the vulnerable section of society. So I have created a trust in my name called KP Singh Charitable Trust. Its purpose is only, and I fund it very heavily. When I'm gone, it'll be a rich trust. And I'm getting a professional organization with only one objective. Let's take care in as much as possible, although we may be like a drop in the ocean in India. But take care of those people who I could not take care in my life, which is deprived section of the society. That is my mission. So best wishes, good luck to you all. Thank you.